Hey fellow Aquas, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your second half of December general reading here. So in the meditation, I feel like I always am like, okay, this meditation though, but it's always just, especially the Aquarian meditations, it's just like, wow, it's just like really just fantastical. So for this meditation, it felt like an abandoned estate house, like a mansion or a manor. It felt like a manor. And I was in what looked like it used to be some sort of ballroom that had been converted to like a sitting room. And you know how they like put those fabric, blankets or covers on furniture to keep the dust off and to preserve them? So I'm in this room that's filled with these. It was like from another time, very much from another time. And it was just, everything was covered in these, canvas, protectants as it were. And there was this big mirror with the cover on it, and everything just had a very thin layer of dust on it, as if no one had been in there for a minute. So I look up and there's a chandelier that's very dusty, and you could tell that this used to be a really beautiful place, and it still is, but it's of the past. So then I go up to the window in this manner, and the window is like a bit dirty, like I had to rub it to make it clear and to be able to see out of it. And when I looked out of it, I could see this beautiful countryside. It was like a real, it felt like an English country manor. And I'm looking out into the countryside, and then this bluebird flies up to the window, and it's kind of tapping on the window. And me as the Aquarian collective had this sort of a very neutral response to this bluebird, which you probably wouldn't. If a bluebird flew up to your window that you were looking out of and started tapping on it for you, but I did. It was a very neutral response. It was like, oh, there's a bluebird tapping at the window. Okay, next. And then when nothing happened from that, this tiger came up next to the bluebird and put its paws on the window and kind of raised its head up and was looking in at me. And again, another very neutral response. I'm just like, okay, there's a tiger and a bluebird. What else is going on out this window? Just very neutral. It was very normal. It was like, oh, this happens every time I look out the window. So then I turned around, and in the middle of the ballroom was this enormous, beautiful, majestic golden gazelle. Just in the middle of the ballroom, it was literally shining with gold. Beautiful gazelle. And I was in awe of it. I walked over to it, and I was looking at it, and it was just so regal and majestic. And it was like, oh my God, can I reach out and can I touch you? Are you real? You're so amazing. So I reached out and I touched this golden gazelle, and then I was boop, transported. And suddenly I was outside, and I was on this path that diverged, and then it led me to this kind of this edge of it wasn't like an edge of a cliff, but it was the edge of something in the landscape. And I knew that the minute that I stepped 1 foot over it, I would be crossing a certain finish line and into something else. It was like, I'm perched on the edge of my seat. I'm standing on the edge of a cliff. I was right at the finish line. I was right on the precipice. It's that divide between where you are and taking a step into somewhere very, very different. So the main message and the feeling that I get from this meditation is the fact that this is coming up for the second half of December. And then we will be moving through the year into 2023. Birthday season not too far off for Aquas. This very much feels like what is coming. It's going to be a very distinct divide from where you've been in some aspect of your experience and what life looks like and has looked like, right? It's been a bunch of bluebirds and tigers into something very different where you may not you may not have a familiarity with the landscape in a way that you have previously, but it feels very exciting because gazelle energy is 9 of Pentacles energy, which is the entrepreneur, someone who works for themselves and does quite well at it, someone who takes a lot of pride in their achievements and sets their own pace and their own time and does things in their own way, and then they receive all the benefit from doing so. It's a beautiful aspect of Aquarian energy because Aquarians are the individualists, right? We do things in a way and we see things in a way, we see potentials, options, solutions to problems that others just don't. And that's just an aspect of the way that our mind works and our ability to expand it to the point where we can see in those dark corners on the flip side or something, or a path that no one else can see. So that's Aquarians in alignment, right? So within that, with this gazelle energy, it feels like there's something about the work that you do or your expression of self as it extends to your personal legacy, right? Like what you're here to do and what you're going to leave behind, that is very distinctly shifting into another reality that you have not experienced before. It could be a leveling up, it could be a natural continuation, but there's something about it that is stark and different, and it feels very much like get ready. Like I'm seeing a swimmer like on a diving board at the Olympics before they blow the thing, and it's like, and then they jump in the water and they go. That's what the second half of December is. And I have shivers. Briefly, tiger medicine and energy is about the moon. It's the unknown. It's having to live in those questions, taking one step and one day at a time. Bluebird energy is a very happy 10 of cups energy, the sweetness of life, enjoying life. And all of that's beautiful. I feel like that has been around you in some way, shape, or form, but now you're all about the gazelle, and the gazelle is moving you into somewhere very different. You're not going to have the same interest or attachment to things of the past or as they were. You are here for this new paradigm, and it feels incredibly exciting. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see what the cards say. Hey, fellow Aquas, we're gonna take a look and see what your animal energy is for the second half of December, but before I do, I forgot to mention that, there's a light and a shadow aspect of gazelle medicine that exists outside of that Nine of Pentacles context, which is the shadow aspect of gazelle is fear. Because, if you've ever seen a gazelle or a picture, they have those large ears. It's their biological imperative so that they can hear danger from far off and reroute. It's how they survive. So it's an aspect of, survival instincts and how, what is that? Like when you're up against like something in the wild, it's like fight, flight, or freeze, something like that. So there's an aspect of the fear on the shadow that keeps us frozen in place from moving forward. But the light-sided gazelle energy is mastering that fear and stepping into your own power and trusting that you have everything that you need, not just to survive, because you're not coming from a place of survival, but just trust in your own success and abundance and, your ability to thrive. So it's fear of survival versus thriving. And it feels like that tiger and that bluebird are aspects of your old self in some way, shape, or form that are leaving your energy and being replaced by this call to step into this empowered gazelle energy. And it's really beautiful. So perhaps a clue could be thinking about how fear or thinking about, survival aspects of your experience have come into play with your decision making in the past, whether it's involved, your own work, working for yourself, or any other aspect of your life, your relationships as well. So something to keep in mind. Let's see what the animal energy is. Oh, yes. By the way, on the bottom here, we have rabbit, which is also about being frozen in place and fear, but on the light side being about abundance and fertility. It's another way of saying like abundance lies on the other side of fear, right? I could not be happier to see this turtle pop up in this in this reading. It's so good. So it's water energy. We've got turtle, turtle, this equates to the Four of Wands in the tarot, which is why I'm so happy to see it, because the Four of Wands is happy home, happy family, and really celebrating where you are. Because after this is the Five of Wands. You gotta get to work. There might be some struggle, some tension. You gotta work for what you want. Six of Wands, victory. Seven of Wands, more to like, strive towards and achieve and overcome obstacles. It's a place in this minor arcana of Wands, right? So with this Four of Wands, it says appreciate everything that you've accomplished because you've done quite well. This is the time to take a break and celebrate and really enjoy, which just feels really like chef's kiss sweet, because for the second half of December, that just feels right on the money. What else should you be doing the second half of December, right? It feels really, really good. Another aspect of the Four of Wands is that's the 1111 key, right? 1111, that speaks of signs and synchronicities. Now, let's go back to this meditation. where I saw the bluebird and the tiger at the window. Do you know the root of the term synchronicity? It was coined by, it's like, do you know? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. So Carl Jung, a psychologist, was a student of Freud's. He coined the term when he was in session one day with a patient, and the patient or him were talking about a particular bird, and then he looked up, and that particular bird that one of them had mentioned came and sat in front of the window and started tapping on the window. Okay, that is how the term synchronicity was born. So the fact that I saw that bluebird tap it on the window, and then we're having this synchronicity key come up with the 4 of Wands, are you paying attention? Because you definitely want to be paying attention. It's interesting with this 4 of Wands as well. It's like a time to celebrate and enjoy where you are and pat yourself on the back for how far you've come. But there's another aspect of when you're invited to, partake in that energy, it's a beautiful opportunity to really practice some present awareness and stillness and really open your eyes to the signs and synchronicities around you. Because let me tell you something, they're always happening. They're always happening. It's just the trick of it, if you want to look at it that way, sometimes I look at it that way, is to notice them, right, for what they are, and then interpreting them, right, as they relate to you. There's a lot of signs and synchronicities going on for you during this time. Also, turtle medicine in particular is very much about taking your time, getting to where you're going, because your success and your destination and your safe arrival is ensured, which is so beautifully linking up with the gazelle energy. I'm so here for it. This is such a happy, beautiful, auspicious energy. So I'm really happy that that is coming up. Let's see what's going on. Oh, really? Why am I not surprised? We got the Ace of Wands here. So remember, Wands are about a brand new start. And we were talking about the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. And then we have the Ace, which is the beginning of this, wand suit. It's beautiful. This is like a creative genius. This is having the energy. This is feeling so inspired that it lights you up from the inside, and it really gives you this deep sense of like, oh my God, I haven't been as excited or pumped about something like in a minute. Like, this is very exciting, and this is really imbuing me with a lot of, the creative, energy and focus. Right? So it's fascinating that that's coming up here with the 4 of Wands and then the Ace of Wands. And we were talking about the 9 of Pentacles with the entrepreneur or someone who's stepping into the full scope of their own potential, right? I really, really, really love this. This is like feeling like, woo, off to the races, which it makes a lot of sense with what we saw like in the meditation, right? It's like this point ends and then another one begins. There's a freshness that is happening here. And I feel like this is, marking, there's a certain energy that I'm picking up on for second half of December, where it's like you are building and accruing this energy. You're letting it build and build and build and build and build. And I have a feeling once we're into the next year and not long after, there's going to be like a natural progression of this creative energy and passion that is beginning or building now. Feels really good. Feels really, really good. Oh God, I can't take it. Do you see how that like flipped up in reverse and was like, I'm in reverse and I'm proud of being in reverse? I'm going to hold it upright for the sake of the visual. 7 of Pentacles. Here's what I'm obsessed with. This is about patience and timing and trusting that the seeds that you've sown are going to bear fruit. This is going, hey, it doesn't matter to me when and how things happen. I'm just going to do what I do and trust that I'm going to get to where I'm going. Came up in reverse. Oh, could it be that the wait is over? I do feel that. There can be an aspect of impatience when this is in reverse. So I just want to put that out there. And, no shade, I'm a fellow Aqua, and we can struggle with impatience. I think part of everybody and anybody at any time can struggle with impatience, but specific to Aquarians, we can struggle with it from the lens of we can have a very clear vision and excitement, and we can see a little bit further down the road because we're able to expand our mind, like I talked about in the beginning. And sometimes it takes some time for the, physical world or others around us who this affects to kind of catch up. So I do feel like a bit of like this fervor, and then it's like, "Arr." Okay, maybe feeling a bit of impatience, but I feel like part of the reason that this is coming through in this way is because things are going to be moving forward at an accelerated pace. That's Ace of Wands energy as well. So there's this aspect around this where it's like, let's go, let's do this. I'm feeling inspired, excited, I'm ready. I've accrued up this energy. So I'm also getting from the Seven of Pentacles as well, is you're going to feel some very distinctive blocks that have been cleared, and it's going to feel like new life, new you, new reality. It just feels very new. It feels like you are traversing a terrain that just wasn't there before. It's about getting to that edge of the cliff, that pinnacle point on the edge of your seat, and you know it. So it does feel like there's some, like, let's do this. But the fact that this is in reverse as well speaks to, this is something that you are already quite prepared and set up for in some way. So this is something that is speaking to pre-existing work being done where your foundation is secure and strong. So there's nothing about this that's like, let's go back to the drawing board, which is what this would be if this was more in the upright. Like, go back to the drawing board, keep your nose down, keep what you're doing. You know you're going to get to where you're going, but everything in its own time. And the fact that this is in reverse, it's like, okay, this is speaking to what you've already done, the seeds that you've already sown actually bearing fruit. To just be aware with this, that there's a certain, aspect of, what you see and what you're doing and where you're wanting to go, but understand that there are other people that are in your experience as well. And so there's a certain aspect of this that says, like, you can know where you're going and feel the excitement and energy of it, but also understand that you are co-creating this experience, and divine timing always has a hand in play. So just remember that as well. It can be difficult for sure. What else is going on? Oh my lordy lord, another pentacle. Speaking of patience. Okay, so Knight of Pentacles. So, a couple pentacles here. We've got wands and pentacles here, so let's talk about it. Knight of Pentacles, I don't know if you know this, but this is my favorite knight out of all the knights. The reason that he's my favorite is because he's you can trust him. He's trustworthy. He's dependable. He takes a while to get to where he's going, but once he gets there, he's brought all the snacks. He's got the maps. He's got extra water. He's got a planner. He's got, a book of matches, and anything that you could possibly need, he has planned for, thought through, and shown up with. So this feels like it's really holding hands with that gazelle energy in the Nine of Pentacles as well, right? There's a certain sense of preparation involved in this, but there's another aspect to the Knight of Pentacles. Once he shows up and gets to where he's going, he's not going anywhere. Like, he is arriving in a way where it's like, okay, I'm here for the long term. So I feel like where you're going, there's an aspect of this that you are absolutely on the right track, but there's a part of it that's like you are being set up or realizing the continuation of a long-term reality of your own material abundance, because that is the Pentacles. The Pentacles is the suit of the merchant, right? And this is you ending up as your merchant self, exactly where you're meant to be, in perfect timing, and feeling like you have everything that you need once you arrive there, that you can set up shop and grow, right? Growth spurt. I just heard growth spurt. Growth spurt. Something about that. It's interesting though, right? There's this big burst of creative energy and a brand new start, the beginning of a new cycle, right? Wands rule the realm of the work that we do. They connect us to our soul. It's the actions that we do or don't take around our soul's purpose work, our relationships, right? Then going to the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, maybe feeling a bit of discord between, how things are lining up timing-wise, and feeling like I'm ready to just zoom from this Ace of Wands, but there's some things going on in my physical, circumstances that need to be accounted for. So I can also benefit from this turtle energy and say, I can also just appreciate where I am and trust that I'm going to get to where I'm going with this turtle energy in perfect timing, and I can enjoy the way there. I don't have to worry about the destination. I can really just enjoy the journey with that turtle medicine, right? Because we have a bit of impatience, and then we have a very slow animal coming through here, but in a really positive lens. It's not an energy of like, you need to slow it way down. It's more an energy of like, wow, look at how dedicated and excited you are. That's amazing. Enjoy that moment. Enjoy this. Enjoy it before this new precipice forms and you're leaping off and you're somewhere very different. This is the time in the second half of December, and it so aligns with the time of year, right? To really just appreciate and celebrate where you are, because what's coming next, right, is going to require a certain amount of energy, focus, determination, and stick-to-itness from you, which of course you will bring, because this is clearly something that you care about and is really setting you up for a level of financial security and, abundance, like I said, that is just here for the long term. This is not like a short term. This is like a 5-year setup at least plan, right? So it's really, really beautiful how this is coming through here. It's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Let's get some advice. Stop. Stop being so on the nose with me. Hermit is your advice. I couldn't be like less surprised about this, because you've got 2 pentacles and 2 wands, and then you have Virgo energy, another earth sign coming in here. So let's talk about the Hermit. I feel like this is a very misunderstood key. This is a key that I have personally been thinking a lot about over the past several months. So I have some things to say about the Hermit. First of all, this lantern is lit from our star key. So what's lighting this Hermit's way is great hope, great faith, and divine timing, wish fulfillment, purpose. That is the star key in that lantern. Now, Hermit energy, it's fascinating, is really going inside of oneself and asking those questions, and then really allowing you to just ask the questions from a place of, inner reflection, but not necessarily finding the need to race towards the answers. This is a certain comfort level with reflection and questions and possibilities, and being willing to, look at yourself in a way that you can only really do from the Hermit position. There's no time limit set on this, but it's something that we do as an activity that goes, I'm gonna go inward and really spend some time with myself, reflect on where I've been so that I can see better where I'm going. Right? And that just feels right in alignment, because the fact that this is coming up within this 4 of Wands context, considering what's coming as next, there could not be a better time to do this. Also, considering that we're going into, this holiday season with the second half of December into the new year, this is just the perfect time to do this as well, because we are naturally thinking about, last year. We're naturally thinking about what we achieved, maybe what we didn't get to, and then what we want to do, the next year. So this is a perfect time to do this. So be taking in this Virgo energy and then going within yourself and really being able to and willing to, have an analytical view of where you've been, who you are, your relationship to yourself and others, and then allow that information, because Virgos, just like Aquarians actually, are all about information, allowing that information to guide you moving forward, right? But this is an information expedition moment. A lot of the times it can take on a spiritual lens as well and go, hey, what's the relationship of my soul? What is my relationship to my soul purpose? How do I feel about where I am and what I'm doing? Right? It's all of that energy. And again, it just feels, you can do that in that 4 of Wands, joy, comfy, celebratory home energy. It feels really, really, really good. And I want to say this as well. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. This is really a time to, assume the Hamlet position, right? Ask those questions. Maybe not the best example, but considering, the end that he meant, but let's get an oracle. No. Oh, I just got shivies. I'm so here for it. Okay. I trust myself. Confidence, self-assurance, moose, and heart chakra. Okay. Let's talk about this. So first of all, those aren't moose, I don't think. I think they're like elk, but yeah, anyway, same antlers, which represent a connection to the divine, right? And a sensitivity. So the fact that this is I trust myself, confidence, self-assurance, this is interesting that we're talking about the hermit and, you know, going inside and really connecting with self, but also the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, talking about that patience and trust in the timing and, you know, feeling like you just want to bound forward. And then also that Knight of Pentacles and that trust and persistent patience, right? Feeling like everything is aligned. There's no need for me to rush forward in any way. I can be purposeful and take my time and allow myself to exist within a natural divine flow where I'm feeling good. I'm not feeling a discord, because the quickest way to pop yourself out of alignment in my experience is to rush, right? And that is the opposite of Knight of Pentacles energy. So it's like slow and steady is the success. So it just feels really, really good that this is coming up in this way. Confident self-assurance, I feel like, is also going back to that, you know, light side of the gazelle energy. Remember we talked about the shadow aspect of being frozen in fear, right? And then the light side being like, my confidence is assured. Or not. Well, that's an interesting slip. My success is assured, but my confidence assures that my success is imminent, right? It feels really, really good. It feels really, really good. And I'll tell you, that gazelle standing in the middle of the ballroom, like glowing golden and the like, very much felt like this energy of confidence and self-assurance. It very much felt like that. So trusting yourself, always a good thing. But the fact that this is coming up in this way, I feel like is hearkening back to this hermit energy. You know, our past, quote, failures, our past disappointments can really rock our confidence in ways that we're not always acutely aware of and that can exist in our subconscious. The only way that any of that stuff from the past has any power over us is if we're not aware of it, right? So this hermit position could be about really coming to terms with, you know, maybe in the past year, maybe even way before the past year, about, you know, things that didn't work out, choices that you made that maybe you would have done differently had you more information, and really looking at the things that didn't pan out in your life and then really bringing them into the light and facing the shadows of what any fear that exists around that or was born from those experiences could produce and exist within you. This is an opportunity to clear those blockages for a brand new, fresh start, right? And perhaps that's what some of this energy is as well, is working through kind of some of that like old energy and old stuff through that dirty window, looking at the bluebird and the tiger and going like, okay, no, I'm going over here. Because remember, that house that I saw was covered in dust. It hadn't been in there in a long time. And then we're looking about this aspect of like the past and the hermit energy, right? So it's very, very interesting. But ultimately, I do feel like this is the equivalent of spirit going, okay, if you're a car, your advice right now is to open up your own hood and take a look at the shifts and gears or whatever is underneath the car hood. I don't know. Look at the oil, whatever it is, and really take a look at everything. And then kind of, you know, shine that flashlight into those places and take a really clear, honest assessment of where you've been and where you are, so that you have full autonomy over all the aspects of you that are affecting where you want to go and where you end up going, right? It's really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. So with that being said, my beautiful fellow Aquas, I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please let me know in the comments below. I love, love, love reading your comments. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm wishing you a very blessed second half of December. And as always, and most of all, just thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.